This is the first lesson in a series of lessons on deep learning with PyTorch, and here we are going to study about tensors. So first of all, what is deep learning? So deep learning is a part of broader family of algorithms which fall under the category of machine learning algorithms, and these are based on artificial neural networks. So machine learning methods need not be based on artificial neural network. So if you see a broader class of family, machine learning, then deep learning lies somewhere within this, and these are based on neural network algorithms. And the key goal here is to discover the representations for feature classification and detection from raw data. So raw data is given, and the job of this neural network is to figure out feature representations for classification and detection problems. Now that we have a rough idea of deep learning, let's see what are tensors. So tensors are the building block of neural networks. So in PyTorch, neural networks are composed of PyTorch tensors. So these are the most important concept in deep learning. So what are tensors in general? So tensors are generalizations for numbers and ND arrays. So if you take a number like 10.5, this is also a tensor. In particular, it's a 0D tensor, 0 dimensional. Then if you see a tuple or a vector which have a few numbers in it, these are also tensors. These are 1D tensors. Similarly, we can have 2D tensors like matrices, and 3D, 4D and higher dimensions. So these are generalizations for ND arrays and numbers. And now let's see what are neural networks. So we saw that deep learning is based on artificial neural networks. So we should have some idea of what are neural networks. So this is not an exhaustive course on that. So it assumes that you have some basic familiarity with neural networks. So now in essence, neural networks are nothing but a mathematical function which takes as input some values. So here x denotes input vector and y denotes output. So this function is not known to us. So it's the deep learning or the neural network which figures it out, this function. Once it has figured out this function, which we call training process, then we can feed in new inputs, and we can get the output corresponding to those inputs. So let's say this is a simple neural network. It's represented in something like this, where these these circles denote the nodes of the neurons of the neural network, and there are many more of these, and this we call as a layer, the set of these, and then these are interconnected to neurons in the next layer. So if this is layer, let's say somewhere in the middle, let's say 5th layer, then this is 6th layer, and here let's say we have 10 neurons, and in the 6th one we have 5 neurons. Here I have shown 2, so let's take it 2, and these are connected to each other. So we have first neuron is connected to both, second is also connected to both neurons of 6th layer, and so on. So total we will have 10 cross 2, that is 20 such edges, and each will have some weight. So we represent this thing, the 20 edges. In general, if we have n1 neurons here in some layer, lth layer, and n2 in l plus 1th layer, then we will have n1 cross n2 such edges. So this is represented by a tensor in PyTorch. So everything boils down to tensors. So this tensor will have dimension of this 2 cross 10 here, because we had 2 neurons and here we had 10 neurons. So let's say we have 1, 5, or let's take smaller values, and we have 10 of these. Similarly, we will have here 2.0 something. So 2 cross 10. So what does this denote? 1, 1. 1, 1 denotes this one. First neuron to first neuron. Similarly, 1, 2 denotes first neuron to second neuron to first neuron, third neuron to first neuron, and so on. So you get the idea. So these can be represented by 2D tensors or matrices. So input is also a vector. So if the input layer has 10 neurons, then we will feed a vector of size 10, x1, x2, all the way up to x10. So this is also a tensor, this input. In this case, it's a 1D tensor. Output, we can get one or more values. If it's a, let's say, a classification for handwritten digit recognition, it will have classes from 0 to 9. There are 9 digits. So it will have 10 output values, denoting 0 or 1, or the probability of being 0, let's say it's 0.1, then probability of being 2 is 0.8, then 0.05, and so on. So this 0.8 we will classify as, we will say that this input was denoting a number 2. So it can be also a vector or it can be a single number. So in either case, it's a tensor. So you see that input is a tensor, the intermediate layers are a tensor, output is a tensor, and we apply certain mathematical transformations to these tensors to get the output. So this is output y. X is, let's say, input. So this W1 is nothing but, let's say, this interconnection between these two layers. So we multiply these to get the output, a bunch of output, a vector of outputs out of this layer. And then we add a bias to it, which is also a tensor. And then these outputs act as input to the next layer, further layer. I have just shown 2 layers, but there are many more here. So this is the output from, let's say, lth layer. And then again the same thing. Again the interconnection we will represent as a matrix. Let's call it W2. So again apply W2 on this, acts as X or X prime for this layer, next layer. So W2X plus B2, again bias. So this is how we apply a series of tensor operations to get the output. So you see how important tensors are in neural network. Now we have raw data, or we have data in some different format. It can be in a database table. Let's say we have data for housing prices, and this first column denotes size or in square feet of the house. Second one, let's say, denote number of rooms, and then number of floors, and so on. You get the idea. So these are some values stored in table, and these are historical data or the latest data. So for first house, there is some size, let's say 1600 square feet, number of rooms is 3, then so on. And finally we will have a section for price. Its price is, let's say, 1.1 million US dollars. So what we have to do if we have to feed it to a neural network? So let's say we have 10 variables here. So we will convert this to a vector of 10, where first value will denote size, second value will denote number of rooms, and so on. And then we feed it to the neural network, and then we will have a few layers in between, and finally we will have a output which will denote the price. So you see, we took a data, we converted it to a tensor for input tensor, and then we got output. It can be also an image, let's say a grayscale image for simplicity, which is just 2D image. If it's a colored, we will have to take multiple channels for red, green, and blue, but here we are taking just 2D, and each pixel denotes a value. And then we will have some number written here, let's say 5. So we feed in these pixels and we get an output from 0 to 9. So we have some data, we convert it to a tensor, which will act as the input, and then we get the output. Now we have some idea about neural networks and tensors and how important tensors are. Let's see why is PyTorch so popular and why are PyTorch tensors so important. So one of the main reasons is that PyTorch tensors can easily be converted to NumPy arrays, and vice versa. NumPy arrays can also be easily converted to PyTorch tensors. So both ways. So this allows it to easily work with Python ecosystem. So Python ecosystem is very big. It has different libraries. You can have matplotlib, you can have pandas, you can have numpy, you can have many different libraries. So here in most cases it's easy to work with numpy arrays and convert it back to PyTorch tensors, or work with PyTorch tensors and convert it to numpy arrays, which can be consumed by other libraries in the Python ecosystem. So it's fairly easy. And then PyTorch tensors can easy integration with GPU. So these can work on GPUs, which are very crucial for machine learning training, because these take hell lot of time if you work with on CPU. And we have some specialized AI accelerators which many companies are working on. So this allows to easily integrate with those processors. So that's why these are very popular. So in our future lessons, we will dive deep into these. We will look at 1D tensors, their operations, slicing, indexing, 2D tensors, and so on. And we will continue our discussions. So I hope you have a basic idea now. So let's dive deeper into it. Thank you.